Or 3. Decommissioning framework. Applicability for the framework regulatory scenario. The Department of Energy developed the decommission framework with the implementation requirement of the decommission policy requirements of the life cycle assessment management, the order policy for the decommission activities involved with the decommissioning. Department of Energy facility with the design, with the exposed with the accommodated with the LTA with the regulation scenario with the decommissioning, with the initiative, the decommission framework, with the focus with the guide, with the involved with the process, with the conduct, with the circular non-time critical removal of the actions, but with the national contingency power with the help with the basic framework. It's flexible enough to accommodate the Department of Energy decommissioning project with regards to the state with authority management of the decision initiative of the project. A decommissioning project may be initially varied, so to include with determination relief with a substantial threat, relief from the environment, and present with the removal of the action with the circular is appropriate. The implementation commission can have the approval of the nuclear regulatory commission with the objective of the determination of the nuclear regulatory commission license with the commission with the Reserve Corps Conservation Recovery Act with the permit to an order, permanent energy problematic management, the decision to proceed with the disposition surplus facility, decommission framework, safety requirements with the potential for the drivers as well with the assessment project management specification life cycle. Assessment management and integrated safety management requirements. 3.2 crosswork Department of Energy's 04301A requirement of Department of Energy 43014. Martin Smith from the life cycle with the cost of except assessment manager act with the decommission for the contaminated except for the facility with the table with the one map with the selection with the guide with when their address with the table codes with the requirements of that up here with the life cycle assessment with the guidelines address with the elements with which apply with the decommission problem with the parallel tables permanent energy G43012 with the implementing guide with the surveillance maintenance with the during with the facility transition disposition Department of Energy 43013 deactivation implementation guide the Department of Energy G 43015 transition implementation guide with approval provide brief crossworks between the requirement of the guide with the surveillance maintenance with the deactivation transition. Show the requirements where in grade were addressed in the guide. 3.3 development endpoint with the later life cycle cost assessment with the requirement of the endpoint problem with the commission plan identify with the specific facility with the endpoint with the activity needed to achieve with the endpoint with the endpoints of the detailed specification condition with the achieve with the facility space system major equipment and specification entire facility with the during and after implementation input with the schedule and cost input with the create with the detailed work plan with each for the space for the system and the facility with the document based on performance based contracting or out of sort with the working wherever the practical due for the demonstrate with the conform with the agreement to negotiate with the third party and show comply with both local and federal regulations. Since identifying with the endpoint for the technical part of the drive of the project work, breakdown, structural schedule for the project, and endpoint planning with the specification that may be the initiated as soon as possible, blessing, and is specifying the endpoint condition for the first part of the endpoint for the planning, profit facility, endpoint specification, quantity of where possible. All instances must be explicitly specified with achieving endpoints for the systematic engineering method of progressing from the existing condition state with the desired final condition which the facility has been decommissioned. Endpoint method is the way to translate with a broad mission statement is explicit with the good goal with the readily understanding the engineer with crafts personnel will perform the work. Detailed specification endpoint for the tree with the undoubtedly vary with the facility that facility with the Department of Energy comply with the variation from the expected to be covered with the difference along with the facility with the previous mission requirement the equipment the system and the containment degree of containment ability to issue with the contamination of the facility environments of the projected ultimate the disposition host with the other factors because of the variation condition to be achieved. Another DVD decided specified endpoints or foundation fundamentally similar with the serving guide principle of foundation endpoint profit the decision space lie endpoint needed to be driven and clearly linked to the top tier project of the objective to endpoint decision integrally linked with the decision constraint with the reach of the method of the process of the endpoint with the economically feasible only with the specified with the mandate with the law applicable the regulation formal agreement. 3. Successful endpoint of development requirement the ownership of the all affected organization included the planning with the decommission work forward with the break and the receiving the organization. 4. Work team with the field with the need to clear with the quantity with the completion from the criteria with the endpoints must be established up front with the must meet with the completion from the criteria with the be practical and achievable. 5. The endpoint of development is iterative and must endpoint with the decision can be made with the during with the planning stage of the project but however the some endpoints will have to be revisited as decommission proceed. 6. The decommission endpoints need to be consistent with the applicable land of the facility with the plans with any planned site and remedial activities. These guidelines should be used for selecting the endpoint method setting up with the criteria specified with the detailed endpoint with the view of the tailor and approach developing facility endpoint with appropriate differentiate between the complex facility with the process system that is significant have the relative and simple about buildings so they are no substantial for the contaminated do not have the complex equipment and system. The commission framework with the decommission framework provided the endpoint of development profit described above with the review of the identification and for the alternative with the plan stage provided the endpoint with the integrated with the decommission framework as follows and then it shows U.S. Department decommission framework, beginning conducting original maintenance, and that goes into problem discovered, and that goes back to conducting original maintenance. Conduct decommissioning goes back to controlling original surveillance. If there is a problem discovered, yes, assess for disability with the decommission, conduct the decommission, yes or no. If no, go to the conducting original surveillance maintenance. If yes, prepare decommission project scoping to the baseline A, and then Chapter 4, Implementing Decommissioning Framework.